All right, guys, just let me know if you can hear me again. I think it just has a bit of a hissy fit after 30 minutes or so. Ah, good, good. So you can hear me all right. Now, I have no idea when it dropped out. I was so into it then. Let me just go back to. So I think we're talking about Newcrest, weren't we? I'll just keep plugging away. G'day. Hi, Shirley again. Looks like people are coming back in. All right, let's. What I'll do, put your codes in of what you want to take a look at, and then we'll get into that just in case it does drop out again. It's all good. It's all fun and games. Hopefully, this is the last of the rubbish streams, and I can get it organised. Yeah, if there's something you want to take a look at, start typing in now, and we'll just go over a few more goldies that I'm got mine on. Oops, no, I'm going to go here. That's not it. That's it. RL was another one. It's a bit weird. Why is it up there? All right, so we all. I think it's all right. That's been a bit of a bugger. SRG, which is one I've got, it's quite a good little one. It's only small, so take it at your own risk, but some good news has been flowing on that. Just checking where a few things are. Oh, good. I like SEI too. For anyone that knows anything about this, SEI Specialty Metals looks quite nice. It's been ticking along nicely. Someone's been buying it, so I've nibbled that as well. And that's, you look at this long term wash down here, big spike up, come back, retested that zone, bit of a high low. It's been holding. So if this one can get up to sort of that through that 4 zone, previous highs, it's looking good. It's on the weekly anyway. Just want to see, you can see this pick up in volume, bit of volume in here. This is back in the start of March, so that's looking good. But let's go back to PME. All right, good with a few. What was I saying? Gold. Here we go. Let me just make that thick. So that's SRG still. Yep. DCN, I mean, that's on the way down. It's sort of pointless talking too much about that. I don't know. I haven't been following this why it's actually heading south, but if it heads south, you just keep away from it. Who cares what gold's doing? And on the weekly, it's the weekly there. So it looks like it's pushing down to, well, it is now, isn't it? It's about there now on the lows. Previous low back in 2017. I think DCN, unless that's GOR, not sure. Downgrades. I think it could be. Yeah, here we go. Hold. I don't know if this is the reasoning why. Oh, I should don't worry about it. It's going to take too long to load, please. Mark myself up. So that's decent. Saracen, that's looking good. Good day today, up 7%. So that's doing quite handy. It's right up at those highs. You probably expect some sort of reaction off those highs. So it'll be interesting to see going into the close how they treat that one. And that's what's that high? That's up at 347. So it's touched it. We're on the highs now. So we're right up at that resistance zone. So whether they just keep it here. It may back off into the close, or whether it powers through, we don't know just yet. We'll have to keep an eye on it. But we're doing well. Even RHC, which is we've taken a partial on that at 70 bucks thereabouts. I'm probably going to regret that. It's probably going to push up to 71. That's doing well today. That's up today. What other goldies? Northern Star. Northern Star kicking along nicely. What's the weekly look like there? I mean, again, it's just broken the top side of that sort of consolidation through 8 to 10 bucks. It's just popping out the top there. So this kind of action, I wouldn't mind if it does power on a bit, pull back, builds a high low. It could be worth. If it does pull back to the MAs, because what you want to see is that momentum start to build, not just to pop up through, buy it on the break of these highs. You could have bought it on the break then. Your risk is going to be around that 9, but the weekly structures, it could just be washing out that zone, come all the way back down to test 8. You don't know. So I'd rather see a bit of a pop up, pull back to the MAs on the long term, then look down to your daily for an entry. But again, that's still, it's on the upside, which is good. St. Barbara, down, forget about that. Oz, that's not looking so great either. Longer term, not really in the zone. I wouldn't really go near that one. I'd rather see something bouncing off the MAs for a potential buy and look into your dailies, your daily charts. AQG, that was powering along there, Alacia Gold. It's not a biggie though, but it's got a bit of volume today. That's going okay. What else have we got? That's Alacia Gold. So there's a few that's actually looking quite good too on the daily. You can see it's come down on the daily. It was looking a bit tough just up until Friday, until gold's rallied 18, 20 bucks. Now it's looking quite good for a continued move up through the highs. There's still tentativeness, I think, out there. I mean, if you go and look at, this is SLR on the offer. If you just look at the histogram, the offers are stacked up, I think. I mean, you could look at that, okay, the offers are stacked up, but they're moving. I mean, that 85 level, which we triggered our entry at 85, it didn't chew through that, and it chewed through quite a bit, then it stacked up again. So every time it approaches 85, the offer will start to reduce. So somebody's stacking up behind it, I think, in trying to cap that move and trying to sit on the buy and nibble it. If any new sellers come in, try to booking profits maybe from 80, 75 or wherever, they're lapping it up. So that's the way I view them more. It's more of a mechanism to try to bring in some more sellers that they can buy from. And then we'll just have to see how that goes in the close. But that volume there, what it can do is just fluff a lot of people in to selling and booking some gains if they're worried about it, if they're nervous about the market, if they're jumpy. RMS is, they've got a couple of big offers in there as well. BGL's something similar. They're at 67, so they're just loaded up on the offer. Someone has been selling BGL down, but it's bounced today. It just, because of what's happened in the past, I think buyers are happy to sit on the bid, thinking that they're going to get lapped up again. So if it does start to pick up, you might get a bit of fear of missing out and a bit of a chase. I'd like to see it chase up through 67 again. That's, for gold, there's not really many more than I'm looking at. Evolution, I mean, that's looking okay. Daily's not so crack hot. It's right up into resistance zone. So there's a few that are up into some sort of zone where we could expect some reaction. So just be careful. TAM, it's only a small one, so worry too much about that gore. Yeah, it's going okay. It's going quite well. I don't like the way it's pushed down from $1.10 and cracked $1. So it dropped, what's that, probably 15% or so, or 20% from the highs on that move down. So you've got to wonder why. And it's had a bit of volume too. You can see a bit of volume on the move down. So it's not a good sign. But again, maybe it's just the weekly's getting a bit ahead of itself. Some bad news. Gold probably dropped and people bailed. But again, it's turned around now at the moment. So we have to see. I'd rather see this kind of action, something that can consolidate sideways for a bit, then start to lift before I buy into that. I want to see sellers. I want to see evidence that the sellers are just stepping out. I'm not diving in to pressure the market lower, and we're going to jump back up. Now, what else? That's pretty much it. So let's get into these stocks before Perseus. Perseus actually maybe potentially setting up, potentially on just look at that weekly through the high at 48.5. Perseus could be a goer. $500 million market cap. It's doing some volume. Fairly solid volume. So that could be one. I just don't like that rejection there. I think this has to do a bit of work. You want to see it pop up, pull back off the high lows, then go. sorry, off a higher low, off the MAs. Up she goes. So that's it. Let's get into those others that we're just looking at. Okay, we'll get rid of all this stuff. So what do we have? First in is 5GN. Can't spell it. Right back onto the MAs. I mean, looking at that daily trend, it's up. It there has been a lot of heat that come out there. I think there's quite a bit happening in the way of news flow that's come out recently. So you would expect anyone that's been buying into it from, these lows. God, we alerted this and just didn't get in. I don't know why. Can't tell you. I mean, it was looking good in here. Just I think it fell off the radar, to be honest. And then you got this volume come in as we're approaching that dollar mark. It started really coming in. I think that was on the back of some good news, and it started just continued to build. Even in here, you can see this inside level just in here. You bought it basically on that red candle. You were down for the day, but the next day, boom, up she goes. So that was all supported with some good volume. So you'd probably expect anyone that's been buying early, potentially even hold it from the IPO, just taking some risk off the table, considering the overall market. So that's why I'm viewing that. So now, looking for a buy, I would be looking for just to see how it plays out. I want to see that reaffirm that some buyers are stepping in, maybe a green candle with some volume, and chop around. And then I don't want to see that green candle, a bit like what we saw here. Off the MAs, some good little volume stepped in. Next couple of days were down, but they didn't take out that day's low. And then see if we get some sort of setup and a bit of time going sideways. You only might need a week or so, a couple of days to a week, to confirm that higher low, and then buy on the rise and see what happens when it gets up towards that high around the 150 mark. And if it can't get up there, it struggles. Yeah, just know exactly where your risk is. So that, I mean, nothing to say there. It's going up. Daily's up. There's volume there. Don't like on that weekly, that rejection. Again, probably profit taking. The fact that the market was tipping over around there as well. There's always going to be a time, no matter how good the stock is. I mean, look at APT. Everyone's loving that. Now it's heading south. People are going to tell you that it's a great stock, it's brilliant, and then sell. And it's as simple as that. You'll hear fund managers talk it up, why they believe in it, and they're probably the ones in the background just selling it because they need liquidity. They're not going to tell you it's going down and then sell. No one's going to tell you that. And then you're going to get those people who are just going to hold it anyway. When it starts coming down, someone's booking profit, they may decide to all of a sudden, 2 days before they were telling you it was a great stock, but then they sell it 2 days so they can change quite quickly. Things can change quite quickly. So yeah, there's always going to be a time, no matter how good they are, that someone's going to book some gains. And if there's enough people booking gains at the same time in a stretch market, that's going to cause it to roll over. And then you just have to wait and see how it plays out, whether it continues that trend, whether there's washed enough people out or there's enough people on the sidelines that are ready now to get in. They didn't want to chase it up. They were happy to wait. They've got their setup, in they go. Or if there's no one left to go in, you might find that you just get the odd person pops up, no volume, builds a lower high, and then has a deeper correction. So all these things you assess, especially when it's up towards the highs like it is 5GN. What's the other one? FMG. Iron ore, how's that going? Not so great just at this time. Again, that's still holding the trend up until it gets through $7. So that's a tougher one. And actually, let's just draw that up. Sorry, we'll go that side. Screen snapshot. Up here. And we go onto that. Where am I? Go here, done. That is sort of that trend up there. That's very badly drawn. What's going on there? I'd say we've got it. Well, I'd say we're right there now because I didn't draw that straight. I don't know why. Let's just say that's probably a bit more like it. God. Anyway, you get the idea. I just can't draw my lines as straight as I'd like. But you can see that's holding that trend up. So if we start to react off here, even though you might be bearish on it, there is the opportunity that this just bounces off the MAs again. Was it iron ore just continues to pop up, bounces off the MAs, and up she goes again, and starting to take out. But again, you want to see this set up, and if you get something like this, you can see through here, perfect. We come back down the MAs, bounced off the support zone, built a higher low in here, and all you want is confirmation with a break through the top, risk at the bottom, and see how you go and see where you go to, because that's all this area is a nice, if you get into your weekly, a nice buying zone, but it's got to play out that way. You can't just trying to just dive in because it's down there. If it could easily go further, this could be the time, like APT, there would have been people jumping in, and now it's broken through, I think, 23 bucks, 24 bucks, 23. It's down around 23 bucks. But that trend, it has broken the trend line on APT and Afterpay, so it's a different story, whereas this hasn't. So this could be suckering in a few sellers. Everyone's getting a bit nervous because they're sitting on profit, especially if you bought, on a couple of these green candles. It broke the high here. Oh God, that's not straight. It broke through that high. You bought it on a breakout. Your risk could be way down here, and you're up against it at the moment. So that's probably what's just squeezing a few of these traders out. They could turn around, they could get out, stop it out, take it off, getting nervous, and then boom, up we go again. They start chasing it again. But again, that trend up hasn't changed just yet until it either breaks this trend line up. When it's trading, say in the next couple of days, it could be trading in at 725, 750. Hasn't broken the anchor, but there's a heads up that potentially we're going to, or we're going to retest it. Whether it could just consolidate sideways above the anchor, and that corrective action is sideways rather than a pullback. You can correct sideways just as easy as you can correct down. So if it falls, breaks out of this trend, just be wary that you're not going to sell just because it's broken that trend line, because it's still, two things can happen. Instead of just going up, you can go sideways or down. And at the moment, until it breaks that anchor, if it breaks through that anchor and pops up, I'll be looking for a lower high and potentially a short. But until then, yeah, just be cautious on that. Just find, where can I get that down? I don't know what's going on. Here we go. Get rid of that. So that's his FMG. Let's just see where everything else is going. Our favourite Grange doesn't look too healthy. MGX come off big time today. 10% today. That's not a great sign, and that looks heavy. So just be wary of that one. I'm guessing all because of iron ore just taking a bit of a dive. Don't know where it is at the moment. What else you got? Surely we have to go back to here, don't I? GDXJ, is that an ETF? I'm guessing. Let me get it up. GDXJ. Oops, that was no good. What is it? Vectors ETF Gold. Oh, champ, thank you very much for that one. I'm on the daily. All right, let's just see what this is looking like. It's definitely in a zone there, isn't it? So what do you got there? Entry at 12.51. All right. Oh, entry at 29.55, so touch above where it is now, 2 cents. Guessing you got to stop within that wick or just below that daily candle. Nugget. Where is it? This is 22 cents, so yep, so it'll be around 29, 23 or so. Okay. 31.02. Oh, good. So 2 to 1, I'm guessing. Around 2 to 1. A dollar something more than that. But that looks, I mean, it's going. You've had a big retest and a wash out of that zone. It's looking like that support zone was getting held. It's just lifting off that support. God, how come I can't get that just going right? It's one thing I don't like about this automatic center, unless I'm not seeing something. That'd be my biggest issue. And if gold starts topping over, this pops up, rolls over, that's all. But realistically, you've had this zone from prior, way back here, December last year, tested, even cleaned out, but it didn't get on. So that's a good sign that the fact that it's just powered into it, washed it out again, and then had that pop up here. Okay, so if you're bearish, that time off this highs should have really plowed through, but instead it's fallen short before it started to lift again. So basically, we're probably going to get all these sellers through here, potentially squeezed out. This thing could really move up. Just keep an eye on it, but looking good. What's the other one? And IAU, 12. I've got it. That looks great. This is what I like. This is pretty much gold, isn't it? Yeah. So pretty much gold. Futures, the same sort of scenario. We've got, press higher. We've got this zone up here. It could be targeting 13 bucks. Lower highs, found a little base through 12.12 thereabouts, 12.15. Broken up. So that could be a nice, powerful move. You'd expect to 12.87 up to 13. What do you get on that one? Oh, yeah, 12.51 with a stop loss of prostate at 12.81 up towards the highs. You can let that one run, especially if gold starts going. I reckon this is a good one. Nice work. Thanks for that. Sure, that's great. What else have we got? I haven't dropped out yet. Still plugging away. A few minutes left. All right, let's just see. BYND. Did I get through all the stocks? There was only a couple, was there? Oh, PME. PME. Someone else have one? Let's do that one. Oh, come on. Oh, it worked. PME. Let's just see that one. Better heat out of that today, and you would expect that. So I think there's a lot of stocks that probably copped it a bit today, purely because everyone come in. The US got smacked Friday. You had the whole weekend to get nervous about it. If you're sitting on gains on this one, again, doesn't matter how they're doing. Sitting on gains and you're reading the newspapers on the weekend and everyone's talking up the market meltdown, da 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 da. You're going to build up the tension in your own head. Come out, sell. Trend is still up on this one, so it's really just these sorts of mechanisms happen because it squeezes people out of the market. And any of the pros would be sitting there knowing that they might put pressure. And that's why they stack up in the offer a lot of the times on stocks that they would expect to go down. And they could be the ones sitting there on the bids or just looking to soak up any of these sellers that are coming in. They're trying to force them into the market. Knowing that this is extended, we don't know how it's going. We don't know the action behind it or what the plans are. People are just guessing. But this has been going up for quite a while. Since December last year, it's been heading high. It's been an uptrend. You can see the uptrend is slowly getting a bit stronger. People are chasing it up. So there's going to come a time when it runs out of steam. Whether or not that's today, I mean, we've come straight back down today to that 210 mark. Oh, sorry, 21 mark, right on the 20 EMA. We're sitting there now. Who's to say we don't know if it's going to pull up here, start finding a bid here. We're going to get this reaction off like we got back in, what date was that? On the 13th of May. And then we can start building a zone, hold up in the EMA again, and then start to launch off and attack the 24 buck mark. Or whether we're going to roll over, this could be a trigger for a bigger sell-off. We just don't know what's happening just yet. So if you're long that, I mean, ideally, if you're long in here somewhere, you stop probably still down here, and hopefully you're taking some risk off the table. With this, a couple of strong days up there, you had a couple of days after that just to take some risk off, book a partial exit, getting a bit extended too. No real volume coming through to support that move. If you're long from way back here, when you got a risk-free trade, your stop would probably be eyeballing that at 18 bucks thereabouts. And if you haven't taken a partial, then your full stop is around the 18 buck mark, and you're just really waiting to see if this is going to correct, react back up again and take out 24, continue the trend high. You don't know. So, you want to get in? I'll be waiting. As simple as that. I mean, that's just me. My risk is probably I'm less risk adverse than most. I don't like sitting on the bid. I don't like to say, okay, if it trades at 21, I'm going to get in. So I don't see any reason, because you don't know if this is the start of a leg down, if it is going to react. So it's really a flip of a coin. If you're sitting on the bid to buy, I like to see the price action. I want to see confirmation, always confirmation that buyers, that you got confirmation here, the market went down, the next day it opened up. You had confirmation here, especially off the MAs there, that couple of green days move. If it was going to be negative, that should have been a lower high. We should have taken out that low. Instead, that sort of selling pressure is getting soaked up by the buyers on the 20 MA after bouncing off the 50. The same here. So they, okay, break through the high. Any sellers in here are going to be wrong. They're going to chase their tail. Potentially sellers through here are going to be chasing their tail for that fuel to move up. And of course it did. Same thing in here. And you can see it time and time again where you got the setups where you're happy to, as long as you know where your risk is. And I think if you sit on the bid, you don't know where your risk is. I mean, if you're sitting on the bid at 21, for instance, waiting for it to go down a few more cents, which it traded 21, your risks would be way down here. And I think in a falling market, you're not buying it when it's rising. When that last few days it's falling, you don't know how much further it's going to fall. This could be the time, the start of a corrective action, like I said, that takes out 21. So you're in straight out again in a couple of days. So you want to have proof that you're not the only one that really wants to be jumping into this and looking for a buying opportunity. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense anyway. But that's the way I attack things, and I'm happy just to sit aside if it doesn't set up. I mean, anyone that knows me or listens to me probably knows I kick myself a lot. There's been quite a few that you say it's going up, just waiting for a setup, and then some that don't set up and they just go on with it, and some that do set up and I just missed it. So it's hard to be over everything in one hit. But when the name of the game is to find a few that can give you a good return and similar probability. So yeah, well, I might have to finish up there. If there's any more questions, I might have to just skip those, Shirley. Or let's just actually should quickly have a look to see if any of them stand out. So we've got AMT, a JRD, ANT, is it? AMT. It's AMT, it's often racing. For me personally, I find that too stretched to be buying into, but I don't know the US market either. Things are stretched, and that's going up in a weak market. So that's saying all that. It's actually it's getting. Yeah, look, it is stretched. Me, I wouldn't buy it, but it is going up in a weak market. The market got knocked down on Friday. That was up, so that's a good sign. AJRD. I like the fact it's just got through the previous high and closed above there. So in all fairness, your stop would probably be, well, the way I would attack it, even you can have an inside stop if you like something a bit tighter. Yours is probably tighter than that again, I'm guessing. AMT, so we've got there, what am I looking at? AJRD, entry at 38.76. Right, a few more cents there, and your stop will be 534. Was it take you down? That takes you below there. Oh, perfect. So yeah, that looks good. What the others? That there you'd be. I like seeing the inside levels. You've got these a pullback here. It pops up. Any sellers that should come in, and if they do come in, and it builds an inside high low, love that. Then it takes out the inside lower high, if that makes sense, which is here. That's just a sign of strength. And the next thing you'd expect is to attack through 40.69. So it looks healthy. AMT AZUL, is it? That, yeah, nice major high low here. ADR, it looks good. Kicking along. Again, strong and falling market on Friday. So look good. Hey, just what's the last one there? Nice. That again, I would say that's going to be extended up here, but who knows where it's going to. That market up, long consolidation. You'd say years of consolidation, starting to break out the top, breaking out the top side a long time ago. You can see that was probably somewhere back here, 25th of April. And it's kicking on. So where how much more do you take it through the high, stop below that low for me, see how far it can go. Looking good. All right, might have to call it a day there, guys. Managed to get through the second half unfazed. Stream is still going all right. So hopefully next week everything turns out all right. And then yeah, if I can get the NBN hooked up, we shouldn't have a problem, and we'll be regular Monday at 12:30 again, and should be able to stream without a worry. So we just have to see how that goes. Should be done on Thursday, and I'll do a bit of testing before Monday. But all going well, we'll be on NBN on Monday. We've got a better service. So thanks for sticking with us, guys, and thanks for joining. And also, if you do like what you see, it'd be great if you can just like us on the stream, or tell your buddies, tell your friends, any trading partners you may have. That'd be much appreciated. Help spread the word. And yeah, thanks for joining us. We'll speak to you again on Monday, and have a great week and weekend. Cheers. Bye. Actually, just before I go, long weekend, isn't it? I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to check. If it's Monday, we'll do the stream Tuesday, but I'll let you know. Cheers, guys. Bye.